All right, guys. So it's Sunday, November 24th. So at the time of this recording, the Lions haven't quite started kicking off yet against the Indianapolis Colts. But we're going into a Week 12 matchup that I firmly believe we can win. Uh, we're going in 9-1. Already saw our bye week, but this is the best the Lions have been doing in probably like 100 years. I think it's their best start since 1934 or something. It's insane. But anyways, there's nothing quite like watching the game and sitting down and having a pour. And I've got a few bottles here that I think you should drink while you're watching the Lions continue their path to another NFC Championship appearance, hopefully their first Super Bowl appearance. I know, we're going to knock on wood, make sure I didn't just jinx anybody. But we got 5 bottles here. Number 5, this one comes from the Motor City Gas Distillery, and they are based out of Ferndale, Michigan. So not quite Detroit, but Detroit adjacent. But this is their Tailspin whiskey, and this is not a bourbon. It's an American whiskey, 44%. It is aged 5 years. It is a single barrel. This is made from Michigan-grown sorghum. This is a sorghum whiskey. You guys can Google what sorghum is because at the moment I can't really remember what it is, but it's some type of a grain that I guess it used to be more popular with whiskey making long time ago. Motor City Gas doing a lot of really cool stuff, a lot of unique American single malts or a lot of really cool American whiskeys with different grain types. They're starting to get a little bit more traction. I think just this last couple of months, they actually started distributing their product to retailers, which is awesome. Huge, big step for them because previously the only place you get this stuff was in their tasting room in Royal Oak. And is it Royal Oak or Ferndale? I don't know. The cities they kind of run together. I want to say it's Royal Oak. And the last time we were there, the bartender, I forget her name, she was kind enough to kind of show us through the barrel room and kind of walk us through some of their equipment and give us the 10-cent dime store tour. So definitely recommend them if you go there. They have, at least the last time, they had like an orange cream bourbon freeze on tap that was very, very nice. Highly recommend that. But that is number 5. This is Motor City Gas Tailspin Whiskey. Okay. Now, number 4, actually coming out of Detroit, this is the Two James Distillery Catcher's Rye, and it comes in this really nice velvet bag. Got the gold threads. Very, very nice presentation value. Really like the glass on these. So this is a 6-year, 90-proof rye whiskey made in Detroit. Super cool presentation. I love the eclectic look, the kind of antique stylings of the bottle itself. It's not bad whiskey at all. I wish it was a little bit higher proof, but Two James just recently got done expanding about a year and a half ago, I think. So now they've got their tasting room is on one side of the street and their production and distillation facility is on the other side of the street. I believe this is all their own, distilled and bottled locally. So I think they were sourcing at one point years ago, but now it is all their own distillate. They're making everything in-house. They've got a couple of other really good ones. There's something called a French Connection, I think, that I really liked when I was there. But my favorite, far and away, was this Catcher's Rye. Absolutely. 6 years old, 90 proof. And actually, this is going to kind of help us segue into our next bottle. But these are hard to come by. I don't necessarily know why they're so difficult to find, but when I saw one of these on a shelf, I knew I had to have it. Let's see if I can get you guys a little bit better look at the label there. On the back side, they have a little medallion that's embossed into it. But I really like it. Spirit of Detroit, no phonies. Just handcrafted, 100% Michigan rye mash bill. So locally grown, locally distilled, 100% Detroit. Gotta love that. All right. And now number 3, it's funny because the gentleman who started this company used to work, I believe, for Two James. And Joe, if I got that wrong, I apologize. But this is Lone Light Spirits. This is their small batch bourbon, and it is finished in honey mead casks. Lone Light has been a thing for the last couple of years now, based out of Ferndale, Michigan. So kind of that same area as Motor City Gas, a few miles down the road. But they're making really, really good bourbon. I know the bourbon itself is sourced for the time being, but it's finished in honey mead casks. They are neighbors with a distillery, and I believe that's where he gets the barrels from, and he finishes the whiskey, the bourbon in those barrels. And I just think it's exceptional. I really do. It's 90 proof. It's not going to come out and smack you in the face, but it's going to provide a really, really good drinking experience because mead cask finished whiskeys are fairly uncommon in today's market. It's really kind of odd because you'd think there'd be more of it just because of the availability. But yeah, Joe's putting out some really, really good stuff here. 90 proof. I believe they're about 4, maybe 5 years old. This is a batch 2. I had a couple bottles of batch 1. I drank 2. I gave one away to a coworker. Batch 2 is even better than batch 1. I know Joe is constantly improving things over there. They also have a gin and a vodka, getting ready to open their tasting room in Farmington, Michigan. So if you guys are anywhere near those areas, definitely like stay up on the local news, because when that opens, you're going to want to be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to going to that. But yeah, this is just a straightforward finished bourbon, mead casks, locally produced and sourced. Really like it. So number 2 on this list. This is one that will come to no surprise to anybody, but this is Detroit City Distillery's homegrown rye single barrel. Specifically the single barrel I prefer. Now this is a pick from BB's Liquor at 21 and Shaner, if you guys are familiar with the Macomb County area here in Michigan. But BB's Liquor is a super cool liquor store. We've been working with them a lot over the last year or so. This is a 4-year, 9-month rye whiskey. And this is coming in at, I want to say 116 proof. And it's really good. I haven't gone to this a ton because I want it to last. And honestly, with reviews and bottles coming in and things being released, and it's the heart of allocation season, I haven't had a chance to get into this one a ton, but it's about a quarter of the way down, and I really enjoy it. It's just a really good, full flavored rye. As these ryes are hitting around 5 years old and older with Detroit City, they're starting to really come into their own. This is all 100% their distillate. They make it in-house, they barrel it, they age it. They're not sourcing it from anywhere. It's really good stuff. Dante, thank you so much for helping me secure this bottle. Frankie, thank you for the bottle itself. You guys are fantastic. Can't thank you enough for supporting me, supporting the channel. But if you guys get a chance to try any of these DCD products, the homegrown rye is my favorite. The 4-grain bourbon is probably my second favorite. The Butcher's Cut is very good as well. But definitely the 4-grain and the rye are my favorites. And then if you can ever get your hands on a honey single barrel, probably should have grabbed that one. But the homegrown rye just edges it out a little bit, because that's kind of the mood I'm in today. Okay, so that was number 2. And number 1 on our list, have not cracked into this one yet, and we're going to get into that. But this is a Mayor Pingree 10-year Blue Label bourbon. So the Valentine's Distillery is in Ferndale. It's not super far from Lone Light. I don't believe it's even terribly far from Motor City Gas either. But Valentine's Distillery is probably one of the more iconic Detroit distilleries when you think of whiskey produced in this area. They have their Mayor Pingree line of bourbons and ryes. Mayor Pingree was a historical figure in this area. He was a very prominent mayor of Detroit years and years ago, and had a huge impact on the area. So that's the namesake behind this. So they've got a few different labels. You guys can see behind me, there's some red, there's some orange. There's a green that I don't have, and there's black labels, which I also don't have. The blue label is a true single barrel. This is 10-year age statement, coming in at 131.4 proof, 10 years old. Cask number I11. I don't really know what that means, but I know there are people out there that are really into their Mayor Pingrees, and the casks matter to them. So this is a single barrel. The black labels are usually the high age statement, but they're blends. Does not make them any less delicious, in my opinion. But this one is a single barrel pick from Holiday Market. This dropped when I was at work. I want to say like 2 months ago. And as soon as I could, I took my lunch, hopped in the car, flew out there. I think they started with like 148 bottles. I found out about it, got in the car. It took me about an hour and 10 minutes from the drop to me getting there. And inside of that hour, they were down to about 11 bottles when I got there. So these are highly in demand. I don't know if you guys can see the color on that, but it is dark. It is delicious. It is wonderful. In the name of transparency, these are the higher age statement ones. I do believe are still sourced from MGP in Indiana. Yeah, produced and bottled by Valentine Distilling Company, Ferndale, Michigan, distilled in Indiana. So I want to say they get their distillate, or at least some of the older distillate, came from MGP. It was barreled here and then aged here, I want to say. If I'm wrong, guys, please feel free to correct me in the comments. I'm not claiming to be any type of expert. I know on one of the last videos, I had somebody who wanted to pick a fight because I got something factually slightly incorrect. Not saying I'm perfect by any means, so if I got it wrong, let me know. But this would be the number one for me. This one is not open yet. I am saving this for the playoffs. Um, there is a One Pride bottle going around, there specifically for Detroit Lions fans, that is also 10 years old. I had the opportunity to buy one. Store owner actually reached out to me, said he would give it to me at X price. Got to the store, he decided it needed to be another price that was significantly higher. And then when I told him that I wasn't a buyer at that price, he proceeded to yell at me and tell me he needed buyers in his store, not shoppers. So I left, and I will not be back to that establishment, which is fine because I've only been in there one other time than that, and it is a true museum in every sense of the word. He's got a lot of great bottles, but they are marked up to 6, 7, 8 times SRP. I'm not paying $300 for a Stag or Stag Junior, whatever you guys want to call it, in today's market. I'm not paying $1,200 for an old Rip Van Winkle. I'm not paying $250 for a Booker's, mostly because I don't like Booker's, but it's also not worth it. I'm not paying $200 for Midwinter Night's Dram when there's more of it flooding the market now than there ever has been. So stores like that, guys, stay away from. Build your relationships. If you got to pay a little bit more than SRP, dude, I get it. I've done it myself, my own share of times. I'm not knocking it, but if you're going to go out there and spend 2 and 3 times SRP to get a bottle, recognize that you are part of the problem. The market is cooling, supply is going up, demand is coming down. I think everything is going to start leveling out a little bit in the next year or so. MGP has already said that they're dialing back production, so sign of things to come. But yes, these are the 5 bottles that I would recommend drinking while you watch the Lions beat the crap out of the Indianapolis Colts this weekend. So, that being said, go Lions, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.